so very cool.
Welcome to the Good GMs Podcast. I'm E.E. Morris, and today's episode is Session 0 Dark 30. And now, here's Chuck and James.
Another day, and we're wearing the same shirts as last week, which is so amazing. I can't believe. What are the odds? I only have
it's clean.
It's clean. I washed it. I mean, I've worn it twice since last week.
See?
We're certainly not doing these back to back. Why would we? Welcome to another goodest episode of Good GMs Podcast. I am James, and I am joined.
No, too late. Hi there, gang. I'm Chuckie T, and I'm so glad to be here with James as we talk about something very important, your Session 0.
Yes, Session 0. But first, Chuck, why don't you tell us who's sponsoring our episode today?
Today, we are sponsored by Red Juice Studios. If you have a podcast and need help getting the needle moving for you, you should go over and help these folks out. Or apparently, they can help you out. They have a cool kitty cat on the splash page. You should go see it now.
Where do we find them?
RedJuiceStudio.com.
There you go. Awesome. Thanks. That was easy. So we are back today to talk about Session 0.
Yes.
What is that?
That is where you sit down, and it could be it's like a social contract of sorts. It's just where you're going to go over if it's a campaign or even a one shot. This can be done. When I run anything at a convention, I have a real quick. Like
so it's a blur, but it's a moment zero. It's
yeah, it really is. And I have learned, because again, I've been doing this for a couple of days. But there was never like when I first started there, like this concept. Maybe.
No, it was we're running Dungeons and Dragons, and
let's go.
Running,
yeah, let's go.
Everybody came with your characters ready. Okay, great. We got 3 bards. Go. Awesome. Nobody wanted to play bards back then. Who am I talking about?
Right. But yeah, it is important, and it is because it just helps solidify what is going to happen at the table and what's not going to happen at the table. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead, James. What have you got?
So I'm thinking as well. Like we talked a little last week about knife theory, and we talked about how that incorporate into your Session 0. And I think even to say take a step back and say that you have your Session 0, but you could have your Session -1 as well, which happens before Session 0 in a sense of like that conversation you're having either on the Discord or in the by email or over the phone or just at your library or wherever it is you play chess with your friends. I don't know what kids do nowadays. I know they do this. It's a little heart with your finger and your thumb. But that's the thing they do. But what I would say is let's say you're a GM and you want to start a campaign, and it's mostly about campaigns. Like I know you said it's for one shots too, but for the most part, I think it's really about when you're starting a campaign, getting the buy-in from the player.
Yes,
that social contract of what it is you want to do. So, do you come to a Session 0 with the campaign in mind, or do you think that it's important to say, well, like I want to play a game, and you're my friends. What kind of game do we want to play? Or is that 2 different kind of topics?
That's 2 different kind of topics. For me, because I've had it where it's like, oh, hey guys, I just got this cool game, and this is it. So it's the pitch,
right? And
then it's
and the pitch. I think that's part of Session -1, right? Like that's I send out an email to everybody that I'd like to run this game. Who's interested, right? Like
yes,
yeah.
And then from there, it's once you get everyone together and they're sitting down. Because I've heard it a lot lately, and I used to be of the mind it's like, okay, well, like for Vampire or if we were doing Star Wars or something, it's like, well, make a character show up and I'll look over it real quick and we'll go from there, that sort of thing. But I've recently learned that is incredibly satisfying to have everyone make the character at the same time. Yeah. So we're all talking about the characters.
We're all talking about each other and our relationships, and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Yes. And that's really important. And it can be incredibly satisfying, and it helps players out.
And
and
there's games that I've been playing lately as well that incorporate that into session 0, which I really like. It's the whole, like with Daggerheart, one of the parts you make your character, everybody makes their character, they talk about their character, and then there's here's a list of 3 or 4 questions, and they're like, which member of the party knows a secret about you, and what is it? Or which person did you give a present to, and why was it important to them? Like, having those things built into character creation is pretty neat. Like, it's not common. It's not common, but I think it's definitely something that, even if it's not in that game that you're running, why wouldn't it be something you'd want to incorporate? So let's talk about what a session 0 should have, because this is for the GMs. This is an advice episode. So what sorts of like, let's go through maybe a list of what we talk about, and then we'll talk about each point in more detail, or should we start with a point and then talk in detail and keep going? Like, you're talking about character creation. Let's start with that.
Okay. Character creation. That's just going to help. Like, if you have classes, or if you have a type of character that, as a GM, this is where you would say, no, we're not all making murder hobos.
Right.
That's not what this is.
We don't need a group of faces.
Pacifist.
Right. Yeah. Like, well, then I guess let's step back. I think the first thing to talk about is setting the tone and expectations for your game.
Yes.
Right. Which, again, could happen in session -1 over email or phone or whatever, but it's the pitch, talking about what it is you want to get out of the story as a GM, what kind of story you're hoping to tell, but then getting that buy-in. That everybody needs to agree. Like, you're pirates, so you cannot make someone who's afraid of water. Like, please
don't. Please don't. Also, like, when it comes to tone, it's like, hey, I have this story, here's this campaign, and it's a little bit more grounded.
Right.
It's not really slapstick or anything like that, so I'm trying to stay away from it.
It's more the boys, less mystery men, or
something like that. Just so everyone has going in, they know that, no, this is the mentality that I'm looking for when we sit down for this. And as a GM, you need to be able to collaborate and go, okay, here's the negotiation. That's what we're looking for.
We all wanted to play mystery men, and you wanted to play the boys. Can't we have some, like...
Yeah, exactly. Right. And for me, I found a lot of times that's usually not an issue, but I've heard other people, and it is an issue. It can become an issue.
And then I think as well, in that, like, setting that expectation of, like, is it going to be combat heavy? Is it going to be intrigue heavy? Is it going to be investigation? Is it going to be like a lot of role playing or a lot of dice rolling? Right? Like,
I have a great, it's set for D&D, but I've found that it's very useful. It's a PDF I try to keep around for the life of me. I don't have it up right now because I'm a good GM and I know these things. But one of the things on it is, because it messes people up. It really does. Because it starts off very simple, and then it goes to one part is, of these 3 pillars, which is more important to you? Combat, exploration, or roleplay? So which one of these is more important to you? And once you have all the players gauging that helps me say, okay, this is where my headspace was. This is where their headspace is right now.
And that's a great way to maybe even include what do they call that? It's a theory for how we should be voting for elections, in a way. Is like, who's your first choice, who's your second choice, and then
what's your third choice,
and then we rate those accordingly. So you could have those 3 pillars and say put them in order, and then you can see that most people wanted combat, but a couple of people really wanted intrigue.
Right.
So, balancing those
that helps me understand, okay, I have the story. Because again, for me, a lot of stuff that I run is pre-written, but I still have to adapt it to the player sitting in front of me. So it's okay.
That makes sense.
Right. And so I have found that has become a very useful tool. It's like, let's see where everybody's sitting right now, because it could change. It really could. Right. All of a sudden we're in session 5, and for whatever reason, everybody's all about combat, but that's okay, because I already walked in knowing okay, this is what I can kind of expect. Okay,
Right.
got it. Cool.
Yeah.
So
then once we have sort of that buy-in, that understanding of what the campaign's about, maybe even a bit of a door lump,
so close.
a lore dump,
Lore dump,
a little bit of a lore dump, maybe because I mean, if you're doing a backstory and you're trying to create a world, like let's say you're doing Star Wars, and obviously we all assume everybody knows Star Wars.
You got
where
that
in Star Wars,
one or two people that don't know Star Wars.
At what point in the history timeline are we?
Exactly.
Has the Death Star been created? Has it been destroyed? Has the New Republic just started? Has the Second Order or whatever? Like, where are we? And then also for those couple of players who are like, I like Star Trek, but I've never really watched. I've watched maybe like the first 3 Star Wars movies, and then you can say, well, okay, this is since the fall of the Galactic Empire, this is the stuff that's happened.
Yes,
and just keep it simple, and then let them explore more on their own.
Right. Yes, because that's it. And if this is also a good spot to say, Deadlands Noir.
Okay.
People are like, okay, Deadlands Noir. Okay, 1935. Okay, I get that. And this is a good spot for you to say, have you seen Cast a Deadly Spell? No. Right. Here, go check this out. Right. This is a great vibe that can help you lure into it.
And again, these are things that maybe some of this stuff I think could be session -1 in the sense that you send out, here's what I'd like to run. Here's my reading list or watch list.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing a campaign, even if it was talked about before, I just reiterate it, Perfect. one more time. Yeah. And then the other one that I always try to bring in is the safety tools, the lines and veils.
And that's something I think should come in. I think that should come in even before the character creation. I think it's fair to bring that in before the character creation so that people know when they're building their characters. It's like, okay, I'm not going to create a character who's a spider human because one of the other players has asked that we don't have spiders.
No, yes, exactly. Yeah, yes, absolutely.
What are some of those safety tools? And again, I do want to do an episode. I do have a guest in mind to bring on for an episode about safety tools in particular.
Beautiful.
But talk about the main ones, right? We've got lines and veils, which is
lines is subject matter that is just not going to be in the story.
Hard line. Yeah.
Yep. Just it will not be done. Veils is things that will happen off screen or maybe mentioned.
Yeah, we can talk about them as theory or as something that has happened or is happening elsewhere, but we're not going to revel in it by any means.
No.
And I think that's the biggest key thing for me is like some of the things that I always say when I'm starting a game is let's talk about lines and veils, but understand before we go into that topic, there's a lot of topics that I will never, ever revel in. I will never revel in child abuse. I will never revel in sexual abuse. I will never revel in animal, cruelty. Is it possible that something horrific is going to happen in my 1920s game when, like with a horse or something? Possibly, but I'm not going to be doing it because it's fun for me.
And I'm not going to go into one of the things, like when I'm at a convention, one of the things that I have to keep in mind is that the violence level. I'm not going to go into Stephen King level description of like when you get into combat or somebody falls and they bust their arm. I don't have to. Like your headcanon will fill that.
That's part of the story, right? Like I would say that's part of session 0 is where do we draw that line?
Exactly.
Like I have a player, I have a good friend, a very good friend of mine who actually is the person I was thinking about bringing on for this the safety tools, who literally has a thing about skin stuff, like doesn't want to talk about like things in skin, like weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, and
boils.
Yeah. That's
melting, Yeah. And so I'm not going to bring her into my Call of Cthulhu game because I know she's not going to want to play Call of Cthulhu. Because
no, exactly.
There's a lot of gross skin stuff.
One of the times I sat down and I was running for Call of Cthulhu, and I was running The Haunting. Well, The Haunting deals with rats.
Right.
And I did have a player that was like, because I didn't bring it up in advance.
Oh.
And when it came up to the scene with the rats, the person froze up. And I was like, oh. And they didn't say nothing, but you can see it. Exactly.
So I'm tapping the X. If you're listening to this episode, I'm tapping I'm wearing an X-Men t-shirt and I'm tapping the X.
But the person didn't do that.
No.
But thankfully I saw it and I was like, okay. And I did stop and I was like, are you okay? And they're like, I don't know. I don't like rats. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Since then, every time I run the haunting, that's one of the things I bring up. Is like
there's a bunch of cockroaches. Are you okay with cockroaches? There's cockroaches,
bugs, things like that. Yeah, exactly. Find that alternative, or just X-day the whole damn thing.
So, quickly, again, mentioning the X card is another way to make sure you put an X card on the table. You make sure everyone understands that if something happens, if we're and again, I think this is part of the buy-in, right? Like I think part of the buy-in is if you're playing a game of Call of Cthulhu and it's going to be horrific. If you know that in advance, maybe you say, you know what, this game isn't for me, guys. I'm going to sit this one out, so that you're not just like, and then you walk down the alleyway. X. I don't like dark. Dark scares me. Great, we'll stop. But if you knew that we were going to be playing a horror game, maybe you'd be willing to challenge your own fears.
Right. But see, here's the thing, though. For me, I no longer buy that, especially again because it goes to the player that had the phobia of rats.
Sure. Yeah,
and so that's why I bring it in.
The X card.
We're done. We're done right now. But there are people.
We shouldn't have that. I'm just saying that maybe if you have a lot of those, don't play a horror game. Like
fine. That this know your table.
Go play Wander Home or something. It's something
exactly.
This other game, right?
True.
I don't mean to belittle somebody with
No, absolutely not. But when they are coming here, if they do want to try a horror game, that's why you have that talk. That's why you have these things. Exactly. That's why the session 0 has become important,
right?
Because it helps me, the GM, gauge my table and understand what I need to do, so that I can have fun and the players can have fun. Yeah,
I just want to keep it moving because again, I do want to do an episode about these safety tools, and there's a lot to talk about. But what about just the basic rules? Like, there's another episode I want to do, and I know who I want to bring on for that, but that's talking about accessibility in gaming in the sense of having, like, does anyone in this room have light sensitivity, sound sensitivity? Is there anybody here who needs, like, special consideration? Because I want to run a horror game, and I want to have everything done by candlelight, and I want to hand out, like, Call of Cthulhu style handouts that are illegible handwriting, and, I want to do all those things, and that's great, but if somebody showed up at my house in a wheelchair, would I move a chair out of the front hallway? Yeah, of course, there wouldn't be a question about it.
Exactly.
Right. So why would I not make those accommodations for my players as well? That's something actually I heard from a Miskatonic University episode that I listened to recently, and it made so much sense to me. If your grandmother came over in a wheelchair, wouldn't you move, the couch so she can get into the living room? Yes, of course you would. You wouldn't ask about it, But then after that, then there's the other stuff that's about you and the respect for you.
Yes. Yeah.
As the person putting in a lot of work. Not to say the players don't put in a lot of work, but come on, really? Like the players put in a lot of work, sure. The GM puts in a lot of work. Yes. And so if you're not going to show up half of the sessions, if every time the wind is blowing you're like, well, I don't want to drive in this weather, like have some consideration for your players and their need for safety or their life experiences, but also understand that I put a lot of work in all week and I've been looking forward to it. So have the other 4 players in this game. Right. Let's pick a day to do it, and how many players can we go forward without, like, with my game?
How many times have you heard a campaign dies on scheduling?
Yep.
Yeah, because it's a real thing. And you're absolutely right. If it's going to be a campaign, here we go. Also, before you start
set that expectation, right? If you know it's going to be a campaign that, like when I ran Mascanara Lithotep, I didn't say I'm running Mascanara Lithotep. It's going to be a couple of months. Right. Like this game should take 2 years, and the way we're playing it's going to go longer.
But you came forward and you said, I don't know how long it's going to take. Try, if you can, to the best of your ability, try to put out a timeline. If I'm running something like for Savage Sessions, if I'm running something on that, if I say, hey, in the month of August,
Right.
or
for the next 3 months or something, set your
this
expectations.
is what we're focusing on. That way the players can come in and they understand, like, oh, okay, this is a 4-week commitment, give or take. Okay,
Right.
cool.
Or if you're James and you're doing a 120 session Fallout campaign, then let us know that that's the kind of campaign you're running. So
exactly.
I didn't, I mean, it's like any band I've been in. It's like, oh, somebody got pregnant and now they're getting married and moving to another city. I guess that's
done.
it for the band.
Yep, we're done.
Yeah. But in this case, it like understanding that you set this expectation that if you don't make a session, we're going to go ahead. If 2 people don't make a session, we're going to go ahead. The third person who cancels, personal rule I've always had, and I've never had to say it to you guys, but it's a rule I've always had is, and the reason I've never said it to you guys is because you guys are, you guys respect that I put a lot of work into my campaign, is if you have to miss a session, message me privately. Don't put it in the group chat, because the second somebody puts it in the group chat, somebody else goes, well,
wildfire. Yeah, it's true. Yes, absolutely. It's true. And again, that's what the session 0 is, the social contract is to get that thing going.
Exactly.
And have it so they understand that it's like, hey, because for me, I have a rule of thumb is if I have 2 players, the story goes on, show's on, baby. We're doing it. And I also reiterate that, no, your character just doesn't disappear. I'm not going to do anything stupid to them, but your character becomes an NPC. And if you don't like that, this might not be the table for you.
Or that's a discussion to have.
Right.
The person on the day that they're missing. Like, hey, I'm not going to be here next session. We ended last session with my character. Like, we were all back at the hotel. Perhaps my character's going to go and do some research at the library. And then you say,
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why I like the private. I like the private conversation as opposed to the public conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. If you don't give me that information ahead of time, if you just, like an hour beforehand,
you're going to show up. Yeah, exactly.
Like an hour ahead of time, and all you tell me is, man, I got, I'm on my phone. It's not conducive for the game. I got no power at the house. I'm not going to make it tonight. If that's all you tell me, then it's like, okay, well, I got my 2 players. Story's going to go on.
Yeah.
So as the GM, if it's left that vague, take the time and energy to say, okay, story's going on. Is there anything you want me to try and have your character do as an NPC?
Right.
There you go.
Avoid.
Or avoid. Yes.
And then I think some of the other things, like different kind of house rule stuff, maybe like the PvP. Like, is that going to be acceptable? Like, some of the things I've heard are like all PvP. Where did I read this? It was like all PvP fails unless the person on the like, if you're trying to do something against, we don't even roll it. It fails unless the person on the receiving end of that says, "Yeah, let's play it. Let's see what happens." Which is an interesting one.
Yeah, I think that's an episode all by itself.
Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail because we are at the end. We're roughing the end.
Right.
I just want to make sure we don't miss anything. What about phones at the table? What about like
ADHD is a real thing, and some people need it.
I had one player who did coloring games.
Yes,
so she was just tapping her phone, coloring in paint by numbers because it allowed her to focus on the game.
Could be, yes.
It's
a real
distractor,
thing.
so I didn't have to make a rule.
That's the key word. It's not a distractor. But if you're on your phone and you're playing a mobile game,
I'm not your teacher. I don't need to tell you to spit out your gum. Like,
right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, I get it, man. If you need this helps you.
Or if you've got familiar obligations, like your kid is sick today and you need to be ready to leave at a moment's notice. Understood and fair.
Right.
It's in general, like, I think, hey, we're all adults. Be kind to each other and understand we all have our merits and flaws, as they say in Vampire the Masquerade. But but also understand that we've agreed to do this. Because we want to do this. And if you ever find that it's burdensome, maybe we have another episode about how to, deal with player loss, right? How to deal with that sort of thing. Because that's an important issue. Player retention and player loss. Yeah.
Right. But if we're going through the game and it's not your turn, then have a little bit of courtesy and pay attention. And also as the GM, don't be afraid to stop. If, like I said, if a person has a phone,
you have something you want to share with the class?
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So man, that's, you are there. You are the arbitrator of the game. You're the referee of the game.
The game
Sorry.
moderator.
Yes, games operation director. You are God. There you go. People are gonna hate that one, but it's true though. Like if the ADHD thing, I get it. You have a fidget spinner, you have that. I understand that those are usually they're not disruptive. But if you're on your phone, you have that mobile game up, and everyone can hear it.
Oh, come on.
No, please don't. Yeah.
Because everybody else has some sort of ADHD, and that's annoying. Like, I can't.
Yes, and that'll detract from everything. Just be considerate. Don't be detracting. Yep. I get it.
Yeah, set your rules, set your expectations. Like, talk about food allergies if you want to have people to bring food or whatever. If it's online, let's talk about like, hey, if you're doing it online, let's talk about technology in that way too. Like, if you've got a crappy mic and all we hear is your wife's watching Law and Order really loud in the background, that really makes it really hard for me to focus when I'm playing as well.
Yep.
So just remember to push mute.
Yeah, it could be as simple as that. It really
just
can.
Things, and these are, again, we're just complaining about players right now. We should have a separate channel for that. But this is what you got to talk about during session 0.
Yes, session 0. That way, later on, somebody can't be like, oh, well, we never talked about that. It's like, yeah, we did.
Yeah. Did I need to record session 0 and write it down for you? Come on.
Come on.
So again, we'll link a couple of safety tools. There's some great checklists to go to do with players, and we'll talk about maybe
I'll try to find that PDF and
comment on the episode. Comment on the episode. Tell us what you do at your session 0. Let us know, or better yet, join our Discord and we'll have a conversation about it over there. And the easiest way to join our Discord is become a Patreon supporter at a $0 level or greater.
Free.
Don't forget,
it's free.
There's also a $99 level, but you don't get access to Discord through that one. You don't get any benefits from that one. You just help us launder money. But at any other level, you get on even the free level, you can join our Discord. There's special channels for people who are in the good GMs or better level, which is $5 Canadian, which is like nothing American, right? That's like a pound English money. But join us on Patreon, join us on the Discord, and let's talk about it. Let's make a list. What did we miss?
Yeah, exactly. And if you're listening to this and you're enjoying it and you want to hear more, help us out. Leave, a like, a star. And if you can, give us some fancy word review. Tell me how right I am.
Right. And or me. Or both of us. I mean, we didn't disagree much on this one, did we? I don't think we disagreed on this episode. But anyway.
No, not really.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Yes. And remember, next week is Mike Mason. Mike Mason is going to be on our show. The guy that's in charge of... Oh, he was so much fun to hang out with. He was so fantastic. So fun. I liked watching how dark it got over the time, like where he was recording, because we started at like 4 p.m. our time. Yeah. But like, it was like when he started recording, by the end, he was like the shadow man.
It really was. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Go to patreon.com/Good GMs podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Missing something there. All of it. We're there. Well, not all of it. Some of it we don't do. But, I think we got Blue Sky. Like, I'm not even on Blue Sky, but apparently we are on Blue Sky. So thank you, Reggie Studio, for setting all that up for us.
Yep. ReggieStudio.com. Go out there. So go out.
Be good. Be gooder. Let the good be with you. May the... Always. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. If you like or dislike what you heard, let us know. If you want to suggest an idea for an episode, ask the host a question, or just tell Chuck and James what you really think of them, join our communities at patreon.com/Good GMs podcast, or find us on the usual social media platforms. For now, I'm E.E. Morris, and you're all good GMs. We are so grateful to all of our Patreon supporters. At the gooder level, Weird Candy. At the good level, Carl Kiesler. Preston DuBose, Francis, and me. Yes, E.E. Morris. I put my own money to back our projects because we're all good GMs.